Hello and welcome back to Zekism Wrestling. Today we're going to be talking about Mariah May's new name in NXT. Anyone who watched NXT last night will have seen a couple of vignettes, a couple of VTs with Mariah. I keep calling her Mariah. They've renamed her. And I've got thoughts about this, many thoughts, because first of all, the name was revealed to be, instead of Mariah May, Blake Monroe. Anyone who's watched the segments as well as Mariah in either AEW or sort of her overall aesthetic or gimmick, or will know she sort of trades off a sort of blonde bombshell, glamorous, and definitely gives off the Marilyn Monroe vibe, hence the surname. The first name, Blake, Blake Monroe is a bit jarring. And seemingly the name is from her niece. So I'm not going to even criticize that. That's a very sweet reason to name, to pick a name, to go by as your gimmick. I think Sean Rossap or someone, I watched the Cultaholic video earlier that they said it was revealed that she picked up a bunch of names, including Blake, and that's the one the WWE went for. I don't know if she picked that name, says like, "Can I be Blake?" and that was their number one choice, and they agreed. However, this is where you get into the nitty-gritty. Blake Monroe doesn't sound like okay, let's run back. None of the new names given to any superstar sound right, especially when you know them from elsewhere. It's not like a performance center recruit, like a college athlete that they've recruited and they've given a new name to that you didn't know who they were before. So, when someone like names, I've got no reference. I can't think of anyone now. Somebody who wasn't from the Indies. So a name like Alexa Bliss, you didn't know Alexa before. You don't, you never watched her. I think she was a cheerleader. Am I right? I think that's the extent of her athletic background and maybe bodybuilding. Anyway, you didn't know her before. She debuts as Alexa Bliss. Actually, it's not the worst name, but I'm pretty sure when you first heard it, you were like, "Oh gosh, I'm not sure about that." I remember Aleister Black and her knowing him as Tommy End, because I used to watch a couple of the UK indie stuff, and Aleister Black, and you go, "Oh, okay, I'm not sure about that," and then you become accustomed to it, you get used to it, you hear it over and over again, and you associate that face with the new name, and you get over it. And I'm sure Blake Monroe would be a name you'd hear for 3 to 6 months. You'd be over it by then. By that point. I'm sort of almost there with Ricky Starks, this new name. It's becoming more prevalent in my mind than Ricky Starks was now. Not that I watched a massive lot of him in AEW, but I know him as Ricky Starks. I know the face. I know the personality. Ricky Saints is sort of coming to my mind's eye now when I think of him. So yeah, it's fine. However, the big spanner in the wrench, Blake Monroe happens to be a adult film star. I've never heard of her either. Honestly, never heard of her whatsoever. Never heard of her. However, yeah, she is a adult film star. The internet tells me, and so that's a big mess up. This isn't the first time WWE have done this, given a name to someone associated with adult entertainment, and the Team PCB were called the sorority something, but that was associated with that form of entertainment. And recently, the Banger Brothers, Sheamus and Drew, were gonna be named that as a tag team until someone, after the name had already been sort of promoted for a couple of weeks, mentioned that, oh, by the way, that's associated with something else that you might not want to be linked with if you're billing yourself as family entertainment. So yeah, it's here we are again with another example of essentially just bad quality assurance. It only takes one person to get Google out, Google the name without work filters on or something, and realize, okay, we can't use that name, and here's why. I guess the not the biggest frustration, but I saw a lot of people over the last week since she debuted, and no one watched my original video where I covered it. But it's billing it. Maybe her name's going to be Mariah. Keep the Mariah thing, because that's what the Mariah first name, because that's what people were chanting when she debuted. Standing on that that portion of the stage at the back of the ring. I don't know what they call that sort of the watchtower thing. But chanting Mariah at her. So you just change the surname, right? You just license the surname for Monroe. Mariah Monroe was all I saw all week. Is going to be Mariah Monroe, Mariah this, Mariah that. To change the first name and be something completely different is a little jarring, considering everyone knows her as Mariah. Maybe not Mariah May, but Mariah was certainly the first name people associate with her. And so now to have it be Blake, I mean, that's going to change. But she's going to get a new name. I'm sorry. we now know that she's going to get a new name, because I'd imagine, I could be wrong on this. Well, actually, no. This is me thinking out loud. Surely Blake Monroe would have that name licensed, right? Or someone in that industry would have that name copyrighted, licensed for entertainment purposes, right? So when WWE went to the licensing office to get that name licensed, or did they not? Anyway, someone's messed up here. I'm not sure who, I'm not sure where. It just is a little embarrassing hiccup. They've clearly not done their due diligence, and yeah, they're going to have to eat crow this time next week when she debuts with a new name. Here we are again. It's a mildly amusing sort of anecdote. Mariah's going to win people over with her charisma and her in-ring chemistry. With she's very good. I've seen a lot of her in Toni Storm. It's pretty much some of the only stuff I've seen of AEW recently, but only because everyone was raving about it. You sort of check in. I'm not the biggest AEW fan, but you couldn't ignore her stuff with Toni Storm. It seemed to be one of the bright spots of AEW programming, and yeah, she's in WWE. She's going to get a new name, and this time next week we'll be some the wiser as to what they've now. Take two is going to be. Well, just keep Mariah. It's so silly. Surely that's not the thing she's trademarked for indie shows and stuff. Anyway, we'll see what it. Come on, Mariah Monroe. Or better yet, Google another adult film star and see what you come up with. Yes, if you please leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.